I visited the Olympics before.
That's why we know it's
Yes, no, I get that. Thank you.
Is it in here? Right,
No, I understand.
Foundation, and Phil Rosenberg, President of the Board of Deputies of British Jews, to address us.
Thank you very much, Gillian, and welcome everybody. It feels like a homecoming for me, as my family are from Southport. My mother was born here, and to come back is very nostalgic, but it's sad that the reason that I've had to come back here is because Southport has been put on the map, not for the reasons that I remember it. A place where I was just talking to somebody that there was a stone setting yesterday for a member of the community here whose children would cycle with me around Southport from morning till evening on a Sunday through the town without a care, a place of safety for young children, which unfortunately in that horrible, tragic event last month, we saw that it is not always the safest. And what that allowed those extremists in the country to use for their own political purposes as an excuse to bring violence and hatred, where I remember warmth and love and community, is not something that I could just sit idly by and do nothing. And I'm so grateful that when we reached out to the community, they immediately said, what a lovely opportunity to show how we as faith communities can come together, even when it is in moments of sadness and tragedy, and show that we are so much stronger united than divided. There's so many things. We were talking, the Imam and I, just before we came here from the mosque, about the similarities in our prayer times and so many things in our shared histories that bring so many benefits to this country. And indeed, my father was an immigrant, married a local lass from here in Southport, and brought beauty, brought so many advantages, built business which contributed to society. There's so many things that we can bring, positive things, that we have to hold on to those and take the opportunity, as we're doing right now, to join together to show how, in fact, we will not let people divide us. We will use these opportunities to do the opposite, to show that we are united. And with that, I would like to ask my friend Phil Rosenberg, the President of the Board of Deputies, to address us, and has been a stalwart in interfaith activity for many years, and it's a privilege that we can all be here together as communities, and particularly a thanks to Imam Ibrahim for joining us and walking with us here, where we can participate together and break bread in a positive way, always sharing good things and not just sad things. But thank you all for coming.
Good afternoon. Shalom Aleichem.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And peace be with you all. And friends, it's really a privilege to be here. I want to say a huge thank you, first of all, to the Southport Hebrew Congregation, particularly to our deputy here, Gillian Moonman, for putting this event together at pretty short notice, actually. But these important things, they don't wait. And I want to say also a huge thank you to Maurice Ostro, who's been putting in the hard yards into interfaith relations for decades, when it's been fashionable, when it's not been fashionable, but you've believed in this with a passion all of those times. We're here, in a sense, for some sad reasons that started this off. The horrific attack that took the lives of B.B. King, Elsie Stankham, Alice Silva Aguilar. These were terrible tragedies that all of us together mourned across the country. And then to see those horrific murders turned into an excuse after disinformation for attacks on the Muslim community was absolutely appalling. None of us accepted it. The Board of Deputies put out a statement expressing our solidarity with Muslim community here, then later with other Muslim communities after those attacks. Islamophobia is utterly unacceptable. We condemn it in the same way that we condemn anti-Semitism, and we stand with our Muslim brothers and sisters in confronting this horrific problem in society. The Board of Deputies, among other things, wants to see a definition of anti-Muslim hatred, of Islamophobia, so that together we can fight this problem as a society. One of the things that I think is really important is we know that in the world at the moment there are conflicts, there are tragic situations going on. We want to see an end to the death and destruction in Gaza, we want to see the hostages released, we want to see an end to the fighting, and we all hope that that will happen soon. But what I think is really important is, in the words of the late Chief Rabbi Lord Sachs, that we don't import conflict, we export peace instead. So one of the things that I've been determined to do since I was elected President of the Board of Deputies is to work with people of different faiths, particularly in the Muslim community, to build what I call an optimistic alliance. An alliance where together we will fight Islamophobia and anti-Semitism and different forms of prejudice. We'll work together to tackle extremism and to support mainstream voices and cohesion within our societies, where we will defend together our religious freedoms, things like kosher and halal, where we'll work together to confront problems that we have together, like poverty and climate change. And we'll work together to better understand and better relate to problems that are happening around the world to, as I say, not import conflict, but to export peace instead. I'm really, really pleased to be here, because what I think we can do from the tragic circumstances that we saw just a few weeks ago is to begin from Southport, from that dark place, to begin to shine a light. And I hope that from here today we'll begin to do that, not just here in Southport, but around the United Kingdom as well. And I thank all of you for coming. I thank you very much for having us and for organising this.
I now call on Michael Graham, who will ask Rabbi Ariel Abel to formally introduce and welcome Imam Ibrahim Hussein.
Lord-Lieutenant, Madam Mayor, faith leaders, ladies and gentlemen. We were all appalled and outraged at the despicable actions of a tiny minority here in Southport and elsewhere. And for a few hours it appeared, at least to me, that Southport was experiencing its very own crystal nap. More than 40 police officers were treated for injuries in the rioting, and these were the same officers who had put their lives at risk to defend the children, and now found their own lives at risk by howling, baying, ill-informed people. Everyone has the right to be safe in their communities and in their place of worship. And we were heartened by the spontaneous response of Southport residents who cleared up the damage in the aftermath of the riot, which truly represents Britain and not the rioters or those who have incited hate. We in Southport, our Jewish community, have always enjoyed harmonious relationships with our Christian and Moslem brethren. For more than 10 years, Imam Soiful Alam, who I'm so delighted is here with us today, has spoken at our multi-faith Holocaust Memorial Day service hosted by Christchurch, and I'm also equally delighted that Reverend Ben Dyer from Christchurch is with us as well. Members of the Southport Jewish community have visited the mosque together with other faith leaders to demonstrate our support and solidarity. And subsequently, we were honoured to be invited to have tea with Imam Ibrahim Hussein and the Anglican Bishop of Liverpool in the mosque. Now, for those of you who don't know, Ibrahim is chair of the Southport Mosque and Islamic Cultural Centre, and he and several colleagues were present in the mosque when the riot began. It must have been a terrifying experience. Ladies and gentlemen, in case you don't know, Ibrahim is a very special person. He's a hands-on chairman. He's not only a communal leader, but he made the tea and he washed up after we had our tea. Ibrahim has won the respect and admiration of all of us by his dignified response to those dreadful events of the 30th of July. Salam alaikum. I'd now like to hand over to Rabbi Ariel Abel, who was himself a member of the Southport Hebrew congregation, who would like to say a few words of welcome.
Imam Ibrahim, assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
ورحمة الله وبركاته. نحن بني إسرائيل بني إبراهيم وإسماعيل نحن أهل كتاب. For that reason, I would say we all are part of the same family. And this is our tradition, and it must be brought to bear. And I make this commitment here and now. And may I and all those with me in this congregation and beyond, who are here today and who are not yet here, and your good selves, be the very special reasons why not just the people of the book, as it is translated, Ahl Kitab, but Ahl is a family.
Correct.
We are the family of the book. That is the point. And in that sense, because we are the children of Ibrahim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Sarah and Hajar, we are one family, never to be separated. There are the early stories of separation we read about as early as their time, but ultimately they were all reunited. And may Southport be the place and the reason for that to happen, as we say in Hebrew, Bimhira biyamenu, speedily in our days. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, B'Shem har-Rahman av har-Rahamim, as we say in Hebrew, equally. May it breathe, it is our prayer before the Almighty God, Allah Himself, the All-Powerful, to mediate and assist in our own process to come together. May I offer you this dice to speak to us, Ibrahim. Thank you.
Please forgive me, the names for me is a bit difficult. Madam Julian, Brother Michael, Mr. Ostro, Phil, and everybody else in here. First of all, we thank you very much for this invitation. It is very important at this time of life, and this time in our town, to come together and show a solidarity, and we show that we are united. We show that we are, no matter what they try to do, they're not going to divide us. We are here because of the good invitation that we should walk from the mosque to the synagogue. And that shows us one thing, that between the mosque and the synagogue is only 10 minutes walk. So that at least we are so close in proximity, and we're also close in our faith. What you believe in and what we believe in is one of the same thing. At least, Mr. Ostro, is one thing didn't change about this town is the rain. That will continue, and it will always be raining in Southport. However, there is something more beautiful than the small irritants like the rain and other things, is that we are one and the same. Even the words, even the days and the nights and the greetings, everything more or less exactly the same. So because of that, we are not divided in any way, shape or form. Maybe everybody is so enclosed in his community. Maybe all of us are here busy in day-to-day life, or even our businesses or something. But we have to remember that by coming together, we will put a stop to these prejudice that is taking place in the world outside, and they're trying so hard to divide us. They're trying so hard to say that you are different from them and we will attack them. And so they take us one by one. But the thing is, immigrants contributed a lot to this country, a lot. And even the government, even the King, His Majesty, everybody, they know and recognize that this is the case. There is a lot of contribution from the immigrants to this country. So because of this, we say, you're not going to divide us. Because of this, we say, you're not going to separate us. You're not going to implant hatred in this community, which is I have to remember them, this community, by telling you that what we've seen in the morning of the day before was absolutely amazing. People here before we came in, people were cleaning and tidying up, and they were offering their help and they were offering their support before we even got to the mosque. People were there all day, and they changed things that will never ever be able to change in few months. In other words, the wall that was knocked down by the hooligans, it was rebuilt that afternoon. And if I have to get a builder to do that, I will have to wait months and months. So the community showed the good side of the coming together. The community were absolutely marvelous. So we thank the community. We thank the faith leaders all around us who showed us beautiful words and beautiful support, and they came together and we walked together, and we walked to the affected place where the horrible murder took place. And we also have to remember also that in the end, these families are in our mind. The families are in our prayers. The families is what matters. I said that before many times, and I will say it again. This is only a building, and if you destroy it, we can rebuild it. But this life that has been wasted can never ever come back. So we feel for the family, and in Islam in particular, family is everything to us. So we hope that the message went loud and clear to all these people outside, that it doesn't matter what you do, we will always be here, we will always be together, we will not be divided, and hatred will never take place in our society. Love will always prevail, and love will always take over. I thank you very much, and also I have to remember to thank His Majesty King Charles for coming round and visiting us, and that shows that no matter what that the local community or people up there, we all together and we will never be divided. Thank you very much. And
Thank you for those wonderful words. It's wonderful to have you with us. Thank you
very much indeed.
And in the spirit of unity, I now invite everybody to partake of the food and enjoy it. And so it's our very great pleasure to present this history of the Jewish community in Southport. And we present it with our warmest affection and greatest thanks for you organising this lovely event.
Thank you so much. It's really lovely. Thank you.
To my boss, to the president of the British Jews, then also to the history of Southport. Okay, ready?
Thank you very much. I believe Phil is the service person.
Certainly in many synagogues you can see the door entry. That's where you will be able to sing a choir of it. Men and women was introduced because men and women were in the actually millions or hundreds of thousands were coming up to three festivals: Passover, Pentecost, Tabernacles, Pesach, Shavuot, Sukkot. So men and women were mixing in a holy environment, so there was separation. It's then that the New Temple time they created the gallery. So I think that's why synagogues chose the gallery structure. But today, as you go to many more synagogues, particularly in London.
Yes, and the family came up, and the son and the grandson, Dave gave a little talk, for it to be returned now back to its home, the memories that you've got, and the son came.
Acoustic-wise, women get a better
I'm just saying to all these people, we do a lot of school visits.
part of the reason why the
It's part of
it corresponds to the old
you won't believe this, at least 1,800 children. We do them all every week or 2 a week. It got so time consuming we had to get 6 or 8 volunteers to show people around. And we do it slightly differently.
many, and that's why you have many, stone tablets, yes, stone tablets with the abbreviation for 10 times. Although interestingly,
when the riot was
Hebrew that you have there, very essential to our Lord. When we
that's
Well, we maintain.
reminiscent in the Bible of the temple. Sephardic or Spanish sport. They had to hide their Torah. So Spanish Portuguese tradition synagogues, whether they're in Morocco or they're in England or anywhere else, simply have doors covered with and curtains will be inside. So my wife and also the ancestors of my parents come from. But there was a congregation before that living in a house.
Meeting about 100 yards from the mosque, on the corner of Windsor Road. And you probably can see that. This used to be
Does it have a blue mark on it? Well, we have to sort it out. Very good. Oh, great. We should do that. Certainly will. So 2 more bits to actually mention at the very, very least. First is what you see hanging down over here, and you'll just see a little lit candle in there. It's called which means the continuous light. This is representative and commemorative of the light on the fire that was to burn on the altar in the temple continuously. It was never to go out. It's constantly replenished, yes? And so this is again, so a lot of what we have is reminiscent of what was in the Beit HaMikdash, in the Holy Temple. We refer to our synagogues nowadays as Mikdash Ma'at, which means a small or minor temple, it's a reflection of it, yes? Here you have a stand. Would anybody have a guess as to what that's for? Yes. So we have the... Oh, please, Mary, you can give the speech if you like. So our speech is...
The rabbi.
You can Google it. So we call it in Hebrew, drasha, which is...
I'm giving the sermons first.
How do you refer to it?
Yeah, absolutely. With regard to that.
Times was not to trip over the holy day and started too late. And then we finished with the following day, Saturday at nightfall. It is not to be corresponding. Evening prayer. So there you go. Evening, but before night. What else can I tell you about this place? This is a reading desk.